Hi everyone. Welcome to the second section of Pixelate conducted by IEEE Council of RFID Kerala section and IEEE Link team. We are happy to have you join us as we explore the world of design and its many facets. In this series, we will be diving deep into various topics and principles of graphic design and how they can be applied to create stunning visuals. We are excited to have Mr. Joel John, IEEE Kerala section graphic designer and IEEE Art and SAC, lead our second session on the topic designing in IEEE. Welcome you, sir.
Okay, hi. I'll be sharing my screen and let's get along with the session. Give me a minute. Okay then, so welcome everyone. I hope എല്ലാവർക്കും മലയാളം മനസ്സിലാവുമെന്ന് വിചാരിക്കുന്നു. So I will be mixing between Malayalam and English. I'm more comfortable in English, but just to make it more interactive and less formal. മലയാളം ഇടയ്ക്ക് സംസാരിക്കാം. So എന്തെങ്കിലും ഡൗട്ട്സ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ചോദിച്ചാൽ മതി. Like you can interrupt me and ask if you have any doubts, or you can put it in the chat. Okay, so that you don't forget your doubts, and then in the end if you're asking again, so you don't forget. So ask your doubts in the chat whenever you want, and or you can interrupt me as well, that I don't mind. Okay, so we'll be going ahead with the session. And yeah, so first of all, hi, my name is Joel John. I am currently volunteering as the ECC, that is the Electronic Communications Coordinator of IEEE Kerala section and the Kochi subsection. So electronic communications usually involve all the communications actually, that is from posters to mailing. You might have got e-notices from IEEE. So to send to all IEEE Kerala section members, I am the one in charge of it. And so we can so I'm in charge of basically all the communications. So all this, even including this Zoom channel and all that. So that's what ECC role entails in Kerala section. Okay, so similarly I'm of the Kochi subsection as well, and currently I'm also volunteering as a graphic designer in the region 10 SAC. So region 10 is actually the Asia Pacific Asia Pacific region. Like all the countries in Asia Pacific, they come under region 10. So we also in the end, all the countries in India and all the other Asian countries, they come under region 10. And SAC means the Student Activities Committee. So I am volunteering as the graphic designer there right now. So, and in my professional life, I'm an associate software developer at Sorti. It's a company in, it's a Canadian company which has a branch in Kochi as well. Okay, so the topic we are doing today is designing in IEEE. So why was I selected as the one to take this session is because എനിക്ക് കുറെ ഇങ്ങനെ positions ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. That is, I started as the SB design lead at at Amalajodi College of Engineering. That was way back in 2020. And then I became the designer of CS Kerala chapter, that is Computer Society Kerala chapter, and of the Kochi hub. Okay, so അങ്ങനെ in 2020 itself, I've involved in 2020 ആകുമ്പം it is all in online events ആയതുകൊണ്ട് യെസ് കുറെ ഓൺലൈൻ പോസ്റ്റേഴ്സ് ഒക്കെ വേണ്ടി വരുമല്ലോ. സോ ദാറ്റ് ടൈം ആ സമയത്ത് ഡിസൈനേഴ്സിനെ നല്ല പിടിപാടായിരുന്നു. സോ അങ്ങനെ CS കേരള ചാപ്റ്ററിലും കൊച്ചി ഹബിലും ഡിസൈനർ ആയിരുന്നു. പിന്നെ റേക്സ് കോൺഫറൻസ്, ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് റേക്സ് ഒരു ഇന്റർനാഷണൽ കോൺഫറൻസ് ആയിരുന്നു, ഹോസ്റ്റഡ് ബൈ കേരള സെക്ഷൻ. സോ അതിന്റെ ഒരു ഡിസൈനർ ആയിട്ട് സെക്ഷൻ ലെവലും ഞാൻ കയറിയിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. പിന്നെ in 2021 I became ECC of IEEE Link. So IEEE Link കുറെ പേർക്ക് അറിയാമായിരിക്കും. This is the student leadership team of IEEE Kerala. So so it was a wonderful experience. I'll brief my experience throughout the session today. And then after that, I became the graphic design team lead of the India Council student coordination team. So there also I worked in all India level events as a designer. And then currently, as I said, I am the ECC of Kerala section, Kochi subsection, and right now the graphic designer of Regentine SAC. Okay. So initially when I started as a SB design lead, okay, that time there was only one designer, so my position was design lead, but it was just a designer post, and I had to do all the posters for the student branch. So my one of my first post was that Republic Day. You see, not the cake on the side, the Republic Day at the bottom there. So I just took a screenshot of my the Instagram page of our student branch. So I started like that. That time, എനിക്ക് അത്രയും ഈ ബ്രാൻഡ് ഗൈഡ് ലൈൻസും അങ്ങനത്തെ കാര്യങ്ങളൊന്നും അറിയത്തില്ലായിരുന്നു. So we started putting logo on the left, started using the logo, the tagline, and it was a very this thing. So if you actually notice my posters, like sometimes it was for violating the guidelines. So then a few designers, a few senior people, they came talk to me, and then I started learning about this brand guidelines. So I'll also take a session on that towards the end of this session. And yeah, so this is how we started. This is right during the Corona time. Right in March, we had all these activities, this online quiz series, game of codes and all. So if you can see the date, it's March 17th. So right 1 week after COVID started. So that's how I started my design journey. So I was an introvert, so it was very hard, for me online. It became online at the perfect time. So introverts, they don't like to speak to people like maybe face to face, but on text, on messaging, നല്ല സംസാരിക്കുകയായിരിക്കും. Okay, so and then like this, so we had a lot of posters. So sometimes I used to, be very lazy, and same session, like different session, I just used to change the color. So you can see the top below 4 posters, I used to start changing color, like same format, just change the speaker name, change the color, and it's a different poster. So that time, you used to work all through this. And there are other days where we had, special leaderboards and all. So that used to be my this thing. And then, we have these celebration posters, that is Happy Onam, Happy Independence Day. So I used to make those also. So throughout the year, that was my type of role. And then during at the same time, I used to volunteer for the Kerala CS Kerala chapter. That is a Computer Society Kerala chapter. Now it's called what is a design subcommittee and all. So there was a senior called Shinu Shaju. He used to be the ECC of CS Kerala chapter. He used to guide me, like for every change, for every like, some of these posters might have taken maybe 1 or 2 weeks. That is, for every minute change, he'll come and tell me, "Hey, this has to be changed. This use this font, use this color." So every single thing. So during that time, I think ഞാൻ ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ പഠിച്ച സമയത്തായിരുന്നു that is, that so much detailed what do you say description he used to give. So you should make this on the side so that people will notice this first, and then the visual hierarchy. So yesterday you might have noticed in the session that there was a lot of what do you say uh, technical terms, visual balance. So maybe like if you don't know the balance, like but you need to have that concept in your mind. That is, when people first look at the poster, they should see this, and then it should come like a hierarchy. Maybe you don't know the technical terms, but then if you know it in concept wise, it's actually good, it's fine. Okay. But then if you are leading teams, then comes, they have to use the technical terms and all that. So as I said, there was, this AKCSE, you can see this light. I'll just highlight it here. So all these white background and this light green or green color scheme posters, those are all AKCSSE posters. So, that's the first time I was working in like, what do you say, a full event in one design pattern. Certain colors were used, certain elements were closed. So you can see this triangle elements and all were used. You can see a common shade of color was used. Okay. So like, and also these posters, some of them were created by different SBs also. Okay. So this poster was created by different SB, but still, even if it was, maybe 20 SB chapters were involved in this, but still it looks like one event. So that's the importance of what you say, having a common color scheme. So you can just, when you look at it, you will see, okay, this is AKCC event. Okay. So then we had tech threads. Tech threads was a blog competition where we used to announce blog winners and all. So for that we had to create a few topics and all notable mentions. So I had to showcase the blog name. I don't have the example right now, but yeah. And then, as I said, there was a Rex conference. So that is an international conference. So there also I designed a few posters. And then I volunteered as the ECC for IEEE Link. Okay. So when we came to IEEE Link, I started managing teams. Okay. So until now, it was maybe you are designing on your own. So you can use your own fonts, you can use your own colors. You have a sense like ഇപ്പം എനിക്ക് എൻ്റെ ഇഷ്ടത്തോടെ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റി. പക്ഷേ when it came to IEEE Link, there was a design team under me. So I had to tell them, okay, you have to do this correctly, use this font, use this thing. But then there is a limit. Okay, you can't teach everyone to another designer. A designer will have its own sense. Like design is a very subjective field. That is, ഇപ്പം ഞാനൊരു പോസ്റ്റർ ഡിസൈൻ ചെയ്യുവാണെങ്കിൽ ഇവിടെ ഒരു 68 ആൾക്കാരുണ്ട്. So എല്ലാവരും പോസ്റ്റർ ഡിസൈൻ ചെയ്യുവാണെങ്കിൽ no one poster will be the same. Okay, it may have a few, that is IEEE logo will be on top right here and there, but no poster will be the same. Okay, so design is a very vast category. It is a very subjective thing. Okay, so these are all the posters designed by the design team. Maybe one or two posts I have designed, but then majority it was designed by the design team. So here you can see it's all varied type of posters. Yeah, there are certain posters. If you can see my this thing, if you can see my pointer, that is this was created for one event, but then everything else looks very random, very absurd and all that. So the link page, when I was handling the link Instagram page, we posted around 500 different posts. So it involved a lot of posts, a lot of color. So sometimes when you look back at what you've done, like you could have done it better. Okay, so sometimes when you look at the page, you're like, oh, there's a lot of things. So and then towards the end of this, when I became ECC, towards the end of that year, uh, the All India Congress was there. So that was called ASYWLC. So that was held in December of 2021. Okay. So now when you look, so this is the screenshot of my folder. Okay. So this it had a lot, like now you can see a more visual what do you say, it's a more what do you say, more colors are being, it's more of a blue theme. If you can see, most of the posters, it's all hexagons. What do you say, you see hexagons here, there are design elements used, it's all feeling part of a same family. So here onwards we started trying to, okay, fine, so this is how we should start designing. So every year, every position, you start to learn different things. So here I started collaborating with designers all over India. Okay, so the India Council team was hosting this, and it was hosted in Kerala section. So I got the chance to be part of that team. And you understand how things are different in different parts of Kerala. I mean, different parts of India actually. Okay, so this was ASYWLC. This was an All India Congress. So in this event also, I started learning the importance of sponsor and sponsor logos. Okay, now for an event there might be multiple sponsors. Okay, there might be gold sponsor, silver sponsor. So according to the money or the financial contribution they are giving, you need to give them more prominence. Okay, in this I guess it was UST. So UST logo had to be on the top. For some other organization, their logo had to be on the bottom. So and the size of the logos also mattered. So here when you try to design for sponsored events, even the size of the logo matters. So അത് ഭയങ്കര ഒരു ഒരു നല്ല എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ആയിരുന്നു. Okay, and then moving on. And then next year, I got to be part of the India Council team. So India Council team, so as the graphic design team lead. So there also I was leading a team of designers from various parts of India. So I had a designer from Madras, I had a designer from Vizag section. Okay, so and even Bangalore section. So we had various design, and this time ASYWLC was done in Pune section. Okay, so this time you might have noticed, so these are the ASYWLC posters of the next year. So the previous one you saw was of 22. sorry, 20, sorry, this is actually ASYWLC 22. Okay, so the previous one was 21. So here you can see there's more color involved. Okay, but here also the color has certain meaning. Okay, so I'll explain it to you. So here these are the common, these blue things you can see. It's all a common sessions. Uh, Here this is the life member session. So if you notice the life member, so life member basic these old people, they have life member affinity group. Okay, so their logo is kind of this muted green color. Okay, so this green color was used for their sessions. For the V track, that is the women in engineering, it was more of the purple. You can see purple colors. You can see the YP, the young professionals. We use the more of the orange. So when people see the poster, they see, okay, it is YP, it is student. Okay, right, this is the student, we used a green. So if you notice IEEE students, they used a green logo. So we took that color, and we started using color to distinguish uh, different posters, different sessions and all. So when you learn more, when you go through different experiences, you try to use color, you try to use fonts. Okay, so I'll give you a few pointers later, and let's go to the next one. And now right now I'm volunteering as the student activities what do you say, region 10 student activities graphics designer. So this is the team. So we just started maybe this year. So this is the 2023 team. So here when I joined this team, I'm talking to people from different countries. Okay, so my lead, my public visibility committee, that is the team under which graphic design comes. So my lead is from the Sri Lankan section. There are people from China section, there are people from Philippines section. So there are, it's a vast, it's a diverse team. Okay, so there you have to look at time. So when you're contacting them, like, you can't just randomly call them up, because Singaporean time zone is different, Indian time zone is different, and and there are various different things they are acclaimed to, like that is maybe Kerala section follows a certain pattern of things. Maybe the other section, Sri Lankan section, follows a pattern of things. So things like that are there. So here I understood that you can't use Google Forms, because in China Google is not allowed or something. So you can't use Google Forms. So here we use Microsoft Forms. So you get to know a lot of experiences. Okay, so even being a designer. Okay, even if you are being an introvert, say I am an introvert. Okay, even despite being that, you can grow in design realm itself, and reach, you can scale heights. Okay, so that is that. And then finally, the place I've contributed the most is the Kerala section. So over the years I've been contributing as a designer in various capacities. ഇപ്പം in 2020 I was part of the award ceremony. So there it was a hybrid model. In 2022 also I was part of the design team of the awards. So there I used to design, what to say, right from all these banners, the stage, the posters. Okay, so everything, I was involved in the design team. So, and then if you can see the bottom part, those are various events. That is the IndieCon. IndieCon is India Council's flagship conference. So there you have speakers and all that. So there I have to give mementos. Then we had other sectional events. That is the job fair. And I said, as this is the Rakes conference, the one you can see in the last over here. So there's a lot of experiences in the past 2-3 years. I have, maybe design maybe more than 500 to 1,000 posters. But that's that joy of when people say, hey, this is a good poster, very good poster. There's that satisfaction even after completing a work. You're like, hey, this is good. Sometimes you have that inner feeling. That is the satisfaction I thrive for. And that's kept me going. So yeah, so I'll be talking about a few things. That is, few things I've, over the years, I've seen other SB posters or other society posters, and maybe, few things to that what I've always wanted to tell. Okay, so I'll be giving you a few pointers, and then we'll be moving to the brand guidelines. And yeah, So the first thing while designing a poster, and especially an IEEE poster, I mean this applies to any poster actually, but I'll be be specific on IEEE. Like when you design the first poster, you should have margins. Okay, make sure you start creating margins. So now this is the screenshot I've taken from my Photoshop. So the first thing I do, I first finalize, okay, let's take, most of our posters are on this 1080, that is 1080 to 1080. That is what the Instagram supports. So I create this artboard in Photoshop. Okay, I use Photoshop. Figma is also good. Okay, so here I use Photoshop, and first thing I do is create a margin. Okay, so when you create a margin, maybe I'll share my screen and actually show it to you guys. Just give me a minute. Yeah, so okay, I hope my Photoshop screen is visible. So basically, like what I started try to do is in a Photoshop, I try to create artboards. So when you create artboards, like if you want to try a different change, you can just duplicate another artboard. You can change the size. Now, if someone is telling you, okay, let's try a different size. So you can try to do a different size, try to design it, and then maybe, oh, okay, the other poster was better. So then you can go back. Okay, so that's why I use artboards. This is in Photoshop. Yes, in Figma and all, you can use artboards and all that. So the first thing I do when I start an artboard is I create this thing. So you go to view, you create guides, you create a guide layout. Okay, so here you can choose if you want any columns or if you want any rows. Okay, so I first do this margin thing. So if it's a 1080 to 1080 thing, I use 50 pixels for all the values. Okay, and then I start placing the IEEE logos. So because this is a IEEE event, so I will start placing the IEEE logo. So you take the IEEE logo, okay, and then you may put a approximate size. So what I've decided is like maybe we can use 200 pixels. 200 pixels as width. Okay, so it stays even. So I put 200 pixels here, and you say 200 pixels. So don't make the IEEE logo too big. There are people who make it very big, and it's very bad for the eyes. Okay, and there are people who make it too small, that is not visible. Okay, so maybe just use the correct just an appropriate amount of maybe a 200 pixels is fine. I'm not giving a hard and fast rule, but 200 pixels seems fine for a 1080 poster. Okay, and then usually you will have another logo. So for example, okay, let's use this logo. So this is the Kochi subsection logo. So initially, like what you do is you try to create another guide. So you can pull a guide from this under this IEEE logo, and then you can bring the logo here, and then you just reduce it to that line. Okay, so there are rules. Like I'll be taking the brand guideline session later on today. So there are rules like the prominence of the logo matters. Okay, so IEEE logo has to be more prominent than the other logo. It does not necessarily mean size. Okay, but make sure that they are in a almost approximate height. Okay, so usually we follow IEEE logo on the top right, and any other logo on the top left. If there's another logo, maybe you can have what do you say, you can say a society logo. Okay, so this is the IAS society logo. We can maybe reduce the size. Okay, and then we can put them here, and maybe that approximate same height. Okay, so right now this does not look centralized. So what we can do is either, see, there are two ways of doing this. There is a visual symmetry and there is a geometric symmetry. Okay, so this now I selected all three logos, and there is this option of distribute distribute horizontally. So what this does is it makes sure all these are evenly spaced. So there is equal space between these two logos. But if you actually notice that this is the actual center. Okay, so you can either try to make this logo in the center, or you can make sure that they are in the visual center. Okay, so That is one thing, but then I always tend to, distribute all these logos. So try to use these options. Okay. So like if you bring this logo to the center means it's over here. Okay. Sometimes it'll be too close to this logo. It's all up to you, but always try to distribute all these logos. So even if you have other logos, now imagine you have another society logo, and maybe it's IAS again, like, so you can just take select all for logos, and then you can distribute again. So it's all evenly spaced. Okay. So I'll be going back to my slide. So I hope the margins were clear. Okay. And then as I explained, so you try to use these transform controls. Okay, this is available in Figma as well. So these four options, they are always there. As I said, try to use the distribute. So it distributes the logos evenly, because we always have multiple logos on the top. Okay. And then there is this align center. So sometimes imagine if you want to, put a registration link or something. So sometimes it may not be in the center. So to make sure that it's in the center, try to make this option called align center. Okay. And then if you have multiple elements, maybe there are multiple elements with different sizes and different things, there also we can try to make sure that they're all in one line. Okay. So it helps bring the symmetric balance to the poster. Okay. And then one more thing I would like to this thing is like maintain aspect ratio. I've mentioned it here. So maintain aspect ratio is basically when you try to enlarge a logo. Okay. There is something over here in Photoshop. It's like this. If this is selected, that means you'll maintain that height to width ratio. Okay. So even if you pull, it'll maintain that same, what do you say, scalability factor. But imagine if it's like this. Okay. I've seen many designers, maybe not in Kerala, but other sections, where they try to, just to fill up that space, they try to stretch these logos. Even not for logos, even for photos, they try to stretch, and it looks very bad. Okay. So always try to make sure this aspect ratio is maintained. Okay. If your this option is not selected, you can try to use the shift. Okay. That maintains the ratio. So try to make sure that, whenever you're trying to scale anything, okay, if it is shapes, it is fine. But if it requires a proper shape, then make sure that you use the shift button as well. Okay. So that is, these three tools are, one of the what to say, very helpful things, And then next one. So when you make a poster, don't flood it with a lot of font. Okay. So now if you take many other posters, some people they have used 5 to 10 different fonts. Okay. Uh, so try to use font families. Okay, that is, these are all different font families. That is okay. So Montserrat, it has this black version that is very thick. There is a bold version. There is the regular version. There is the light version. So try to use, maximum try to use maybe 2 font families. Okay, in one poster. Don't use a lot of what do you say, a lot of fonts, because it does not give that uniform professional view. Okay. So when you try to use a specific set of font families, maybe you can use Montserrat and Poppins, or there are certain groupings, combinations you can use. Okay. So try to use so maybe for example, let's take an hexagon poster. So there you'll have a person's photo, you'll have name, and you'll have their position. So in the position, you can use the bold font. In the designation, you can use a lighter font. Okay. Or you can use italics, or you can use a different color. Okay. Not don't make it so many colors. Okay. So you can use color, you can use all these different weights. So these are called different weights of a font. Okay. So try to use them. Don't try to use a lot of different fonts. Okay. So that is one of the rules of design. Okay. So you can use these. So these are the fonts I usually use for my design posters. So you don't have to have a wide range of fonts. Like I right now have a lot of fonts, but I don't use at least 90% of them. Okay. So there are a lot of good fonts that are readable, that are good looking, that are more professional. Okay. So try to use, these are one of my go-to fonts. Okay. Maybe, as this Pixelate these workshops or sessions go on, we can have a set of font repositories. So organizers, I hope you're listening. So we can have maybe like a font collection or something, a list of good fonts or something. Okay. Then a few other points, that is few old or incorrect logos. So I've seen some other organization units like this logo. It was used long back. Maybe some olden type of what is it? Maybe things which are made in maybe the 2000s, they used to use this font, this type of logo. So this is not used anymore. And even when this kite is very big, like this is the appropriate size, the kite and the IEEE has to be a proportionate size. But there are logos where the kite is very huge and IEEE is very small, so don't try to use these logos. And this color of the logo, okay, this is a very blue saturated type of logo, so don't try to use these logos also. So I've noticed some student branches or organization units using these logos, so try not to use them. Okay. And then next thing is Exicom posters. So now many of us have made Exicom posters where there are a lot of faces, a lot of information in one poster. So I'd like to take this example, like right now in this poster, you can see this. Now the first person, you can see the face, that box is covering the that box has the more about 90% is the face. But you look at this corner, okay, the full body of the person is there. So this is not a uniform face size. So when you have posters with a lot of different faces, try to make all the face size uniform. Okay, so that everyone gets the same sort of visibility. So now right now it's not this Thomas person, his photo is not very visible compared to maybe this chair over here. So try to make sure there are uniform sizes. Okay, uniform size. I know we get different the photos are come in different shapes and sizes, but so try to zoom what do you say, maybe crop off the rest of the body and try to use more of the face, so that everyone gets the equal visibility. Okay, so that's one thing I'd like to share. And then some things like now recently many posters over the years I've seen, that is registration fees and prices worth. Okay, those involve amounts, prize money and all that. So try to mention the currency. Okay, then if it is rupees, make sure it's RS or the rupee symbol. If it is dollars, make sure. So this is the poster I've seen recently. So this is what I've seen. So when you look at it, it looks 200 RAS members, 300 RAS members. It does not understand. Actually, it is the registration fees. So if you put rupees, then that context would have been understood. Okay. And another thing is because see, maybe our student branch events, maybe in the future they maybe may go international. Maybe international people see, that is when you apply for awards, maybe they come and see what all activities you're doing. So try to mention, so your audience is international. Okay, so they might know what currency it is. They might assume it is dollars, they might assume it is rupees. So just try to get that ambiguity off. Try to mention your currency in all your posters. Okay, so I hope that will be done from now on. So many people are doing it, but then I've seen a lot of posters without the currency. Okay, and then the next thing is, now we've seen a trend of using handwriting fonts. Okay, so when you're using handwriting font, it's called handwriting because it gives one flow. So now you can see after E, it merges into the G, and then G merges into the I. That gives it the handwriting feel. But when you try this, that is, you separate all the letters apart, it creates a very weird effect. It creates maybe like sometimes what do you say, when you are in a lower class, when you are kids, you try to give spacing between, when you're trying to A, B, C, that time you're trying to learn letters. No, it gives that sort of vibe. So try to make sure that there is no spacing between when you're using handwriting fonts. The other fonts, they are fine. That is the block fonts, the sans serif, and all those fonts. You can use spacing as a design element as well. But when you're using these handwriting fonts, try to make sure that there is space and it feels continuous. Okay. So this was a few tips I've noticed. Yeah. Okay. Then Coming on to registration links. Okay, now there are link shorteners. Maybe many of you have are using them. That is the bit.ly or the min.lc. Min.lc is done by Kerala section, so you can use that. That has more premium features also for free. So bit.ly, there are a few restrictions if you have the free account. So you can use these link shorteners. So don't try to paste the entire form link, because when people sometimes, your posters and content, they don't go together. Sometimes I only see the WhatsApp status, you only see the poster sometimes. So that time nobody is going to type this Google form link over there. Okay, so that's why we use link shorteners. And when you use this link shorteners, make sure you don't put https, because the main aim of putting a link shortener is to shorten the link. So this unnecessary part of this https is not required. So try removing this https and try bit.ly and use your customized, you can customize it. Okay, so try to avoid all these long links on the poster especially. Okay, because honestly I feel there is no point in putting these posters, point in putting these long links in posters. So if you're putting a link, try to use the link shortener. Okay, so now any doubts until now? If you want, you can unmute or put in the chat if you want to ask anything about, before I start taking the next session on this guidelines. Okay, I am assuming no doubts. Okay, fine. So I'll be taking a session on this brand identity guidelines. So where do you get these identity guidelines? Is this is the site. It's called brand-experience.ieee.org. Okay, you go to this site. You see it's divided into 6 different components. That is, you get the assets and guidelines, you get information about the IEEE brand, you get various templates. So there are PPT templates, there are website templates, there are lot other templates as well. Then you get toolkits. There are ready-made posters, there are ready-made videos in the promo library. Okay, so there's a lot of what do you say, materials involved in this website. Okay, so you can even, there's a brand experience team also at the global level, so you can even contact them if you have any certain doubts. Okay, so yeah, so I'll be going through the guideline session. So these are the templates. So you might have noticed in all these IEEE events, maybe these templates are used. Okay, there are in different colors. There are different templates you can use from this site. Okay, you get business cards, you get letterheads and all that. Even certain report formats and all you'll get even website. Most of them are WordPress templates, as I believe. So you can use all these templates if you want. From this site. And then there are promo libraries. So now there are the future 50 code is active right now. So if you want ready-made posters on future 50, they come in different shapes and sizes. So there's banner type posters, there are email footer type posters, or there is even normal posters. So here you can use these posters free of cost. You can get in different sizes and shapes. So this is one place to look for these posters. Okay, so you can get them from the promo library, where you get various videos. And there are various toolkits are also, it involves posters, and it involves a lot of, what do you say, if you want to promote a site. Now there is IEEE volunteering. I'm not sure if many people know about IEEE volunteering. So there's a site called volunteer.ieee.org, so where you can like, it's the kind of a brand new site. People are still coming and putting volunteering opportunities. So just check that site. You can find a volunteering opportunity that is even at a global level. So you might be a student right now, but they might want some designer or some content writer. So you can try applying, and maybe you get an opportunity to be part of a global team. So, and then there are a lot of other collaborators there. So if you want to promote Collaboratech, there are testimonials, there are email contents to promote. So those are called toolkits. Okay, so in addition to the posters, there are other types of as you can see, testimonials, promotion videos, and news release things. Okay, so you get all of this in this brand experience site. Okay, and then coming to the main part of this session, that is the brand identity guidelines. So I just want a raise of hands or maybe a react or put in a chat. How many of you know about these brand identity guidelines? How many of you have read through it? Okay, I don't see. Okay, not a lot of people. Okay, may I just sing two hands up? Okay, so out of 64 people here, no, you haven't seen these brand. Okay, fine. So I'll be going through this. Like this is actually 40 pages. I won't be going through so much detail. Okay, because it involves a lot of text. It involves a lot of reading. So I'll just take you through the important points. Okay, so these are the guidelines we need to follow. Okay, that is. As even logo guidelines. So once I get through the session, you'll understand what all it's required. Okay. So then, first of all, this may be obvious to you. So this is called the IEEE master brand. So, okay, yes, we call it the IEEE logo, but in legal terms, this is called the IEEE master brand. Okay, and this IEEE logo has to be used on all IEEE print and screen-based applications. Okay, so regarding like all your publications, all your promotional materials, posters, even this PowerPoint presentations, as I said, it's there in the templates, IEEE templates, and then in the all the event materials, so we create a lot of posters. So all this thing, it has to involve this logo. Okay, so now the next logo, it's called the master brand master brand with tagline. Okay, so many people might have a doubt like when to use this logo. Okay, so it is clearly stated in the guidelines in the PDF document that you should use this logo when there is no other logo. Okay, when there is no other logo on that frame or on that poster. Okay, so usually we are all SB designers or student Kerala section student team designers, so we always have some or the other logo involved. That is, either it'll be the SB logo, or it'll be the Kerala section logo, or it'll be maybe society logos. So somewhere or the other we'll always have another logo. So usually we try not to use this tagline logo. Okay, so that is only for this IEEE corporate brochures and all, where only their logo is required. In those cases we try to use, or sometimes in conference giveaways, in maybe swag, that is, you may have got bags or t-shirts or something. So there, when there is, we try to limit to one logo, you can try to use this logo with only the tagline. Okay, so hope that's clear. And then comes the kite. So this element is called the kite. Okay, so we are not supposed to modify it. We are not supposed to use it alone. Okay, other than using it for a pin or a digital badge. So there are specified uses for this IEEE kite alone. Okay, otherwise you should use the entire IEEE master brand. Okay, that is the kite along with the IEEE in word. Okay, so try not to use this kite logo. So there are certain SBs or certain organization units where they try to modify this kite logo and try to use it as their logo. Okay, and that is actually a clear violation because there are some trademark infringements. Okay, so just to be on the safe side, try not to use this kite logo. Okay, alone. Okay, so if you're making a pin, that is, pin actually they send it like they send it to certain members, as certain life members or certain members are entitled to it. So only those members are supposed to have these pin logos. So try not to use the kite logo alone. And then the main rule of this IEEE logo is you can only use it in 3 colors. So for the first color is called the IEEE blue. That is the blue you see. Okay, make sure that I mentioned before that, make sure it's not the IEEE saturated blue. There's another type of blue. Okay, make sure it is this what do you say, less saturated type of blue. Okay, where to get this logo? As I said, you can use it from the brand experience website. Okay, so there you can get this logo, you can get the black version and white version. So only these three colors are specified. Okay, you cannot use red, you cannot use any other colors. Okay, and then they've also told about the size. Okay, so now nobody's going to measure it on a scale, or nobody's going to measure it, but they've told that minimum pixel size is 100 pixels if you are using it a digital poster. So as I said, like as I showed a example on the Photoshop, that is for a 1080 poster, you can use up to maybe 200 pixels of that width. So here they're telling minimum is 100. So try to use, that is, make sure there's a balance. So, as a designer, you find a balance. That is, this is too large because it's in your face. This is too small. Okay. If you have many logos, maybe this is fine. But if you're having less logos, try to find the appropriate size and make sure it's there. But the brand guidelines have mentioned specific price sizes as well. Okay, and then comes the clear space. So clear space means within this region. So now this is the logo. Within this region, you're not supposed to put any other logo, any other graphic. Okay, you're supposed to give this. Basically they've taken the height of IEEE, that is as X, and along that height they have made sure that there is that much space is left vacant. Okay, that there is no other logo. So even as I've mentioned as a margin. So when you mention when you put a margin, no, you will find this. There's a make sure there's a proper box type of that. That is equal margins from top and bottom. So top and side. Okay, so that gives a more, from a design perspective also it is good. But then look at this, it goes too close to the edges. So sometimes when you post on Instagram, sometimes these people who post on Instagram, they just crop they don't see the thing and they crop the logo. So that's a very bad impression. So try to use yeah, equal amount of margin, so even if it gets cropped off, you're still safe. Okay, so clear space, it's written in the brand guidelines. So we'll put this PDF in the group shortly. So then when you're using other logos, so sometimes in student branch level, you may use the student branch logo on the left side and the IEEE logo on the right side. So there's a lot of good even space, so then it's fine. But in the case where logos are tightly what do you say, close to each other, like now you can see all these examples. So there you have to make sure there's a bar, there's a clear bar dividing them. Okay, so that clear space is maintained. Okay, and here they are talking about the size, that is, it should have equal or greater prominence to the logos. Okay, so if you start measuring this via scale, maybe you might say that, hey, this Comstock logo may be maybe 1 pixel bigger. It's not about the height, it's about the prominence. So it should have either equal or greater prominence. That is, the IEEE logo should have greater prominence. Okay, so when you're using all these logos, many logos in one this thing, try to use this bar to separate the logos. Okay, so these are all mentioned in the guidelines, and then they have given examples as well. That is, this is like basic designer common sense, I'd say. Light background, use a darker logo. Dark background, use a lighter logo. Okay, um, so here in this case you can see light background, they used a black logo. For a darker background, they've used a white logo. Okay, and then here they made sure that this dark background and blue does not go well together. So that's why they made sure that they've given an example that don't use the blue logo on the black background. Okay, here also you can see there is it's a dark background, and then this IEEE logo is not very visible. Okay, same as the case over here, it's the light background. So try to use common sense and try to place the appropriate color. Okay, you can use blue. If blue is not possible, try to use black or white. Okay, there's no specific rules to which color you have to use for which poster, so that way you're fine. And try not to have this disturbing background. So now you can see there's a background and this IEEE logo, it's not clear. Okay, so try not to use a very complex image behind the logo. So this is fine. You can see IEEE logo is clear despite it having a background, but try to what do you say, balance them out. Okay, here they are given other examples. Okay, that is, do not modify the IEEE logo. There are, there are certain organization units, they take this IEEE logo and then they add a lot of elements, they add their student branch name, do a lot of things. You're not supposed to do that. Okay. So here they've used the red color, which is not allowed. They've used a different color for the kite. They've used the kite alone. So these are all brand guidelines violations. So here, if you notice, as I told you, this is maybe squeezed. The logos are squeezed from the sides. It's not a proper, what is a diamond here. Okay, so try not to squeeze the diamond. They've even given this explanation on why it is wrong. So that is, do not distort or stretch the logo, and maybe hold the shift key to resize the logo proportionately. Okay, so in this case, you can see the background is blue in color, but there's this kite logo has a white background. So this also is a brand guidelines violation. Okay, so I hope that you try to make sure. So this also has to be the same color of the background. Okay, so this also has to be in that blue color. And then you're not supposed to add this lines right below the logo. Okay, unless you're having other writings around it, and make sure there's even spacing, that is, you're following the clear space rules. So that is, here it's mentioned, you have to follow the clear space ideas also. So try not to use the shadows. Like, there is a trend of using shadows, there's a trend of using outlines, so do not apply it on a logo. Okay, so that is one rule. And then do not align it at a line. Make sure it's flat, as in you see in the other logos. Make sure do not put a shape around this. So there are posters I've seen, they put a shape around it. Okay, so try not to use an outline shape. Try not to put what do you say, text too near the IEEE logo. And then try not to use a kite along with some other type of text. Okay, so then the IEEE identifier, like when you type in a sentence, you're supposed to put IEEE in all uppercase. Okay, so there are people who put maybe small letters, maybe in first only the I is capital. So try to use these. Even when you're telling the website, it should be IEEE fully capped and then .org in small letters. So that and all is mentioned in the guidelines. So try to follow them. Um, so if you're what is it, if you want to put an event, so try just put it in text form, that is IEEE this event. Do not try to bring the my master brand into the logo. So many sections in India especially, they use this type of logo, like this type of logo for their section logo. This is actually a clear guidelines violation. Okay, so we should try not to use this method. Okay, and maybe until maybe last year, we, for even Kerala section, we are following this logo, that is IEEE Kerala section. Right now we've changed it. I'll be showing the new logo as well. So make sure these rules are followed. Try not to use the master brand and then put a text around it. Okay, and then placement. Placement, you might have seen many IEEE posters. We usually follow top right of the posters. Okay, so they have given many rules on where it should be placed, like in the browser, in other things, in the what do you say, PowerPoint templates and all, it should be on the bottom right. But usually on a poster, since we give it more prominence, us as IEEE Kerala side, we put it on the top right. Okay, the rules are a bit ambiguous even on the IEEE site, like it's all used in different places. So we've adopted a standard of putting it on the top right. Okay. So then the IEEE has a design element called the wedge. So that is inherited from this kite logo. Okay, so that they've taken this, and it's basically a 45-degree cut on any what do you say, shape, and it's called the IEEE wedge. So you can use these as your designs. Maybe these designs are created long back. Maybe the modern designers right now wouldn't tend to use these logos. So that's why we don't see it much used right now. Okay, but you can feel free to use them. Video guidelines, there are guidelines for videos as well. That is on the last frame. You should have the IEEE logo. If you're having another logo, you should have a bar separating them. If you want to put the IEEE logo throughout the video, like during the footage, you should try to put it as a watermark. Okay. And then there are other rules, that is you can use a wedge element as well. Okay, so these are the guidelines for the videos. So I've just ran through the brand identity guidelines document. So that is a 40-page document. We'll put that in the group chat after this session. And then comes the geographic community identity guidelines. So this specifies how your organization units. So organization units basically section, your student branches are all different organization units. So how their logos, that is how their identity has to be told. Okay. For example, they have told that the section logo or section flag has to be in this format. Okay, so recently, if you've noticed the Kerala section the posters and all, that is, we started using this logo. This is called the section flag. So this is the new logo we started using. Okay, so we are following the guidelines as such. That is, we are using the section logo. Okay, and then if you're a technical chapter means there are society chapters. That is the Computer Society, the Kerala chapter, the PES Kerala chapter. You have about 14 to 15 society chapters across IEEE Kerala. So there they use the option 2 logo, that is IEEE in bold, and then the rest of the chapter name in normal. So this is usually used in Formata font. Formata font is the font for IEEE, but you can use it in other fonts as well. So since Formata font is a more of a, what do you say, copyrighted, or it's not available for public use, so we try to use a alternative font, that is Calibri, or other fonts are also used. So if you're using your logo, you can use the other options as well. That is, now if you look at the joint chapter, so Kerala has a joint chapter, so there they place their 3 society logos, and under it they have a name. So all of these are section society chapters follow. Okay, and then certain societies, they have their own guidelines. That is the Computer Society chapter, the RAS chapter, the PES chapter. They have certain specific guidelines to how their logo has to be used. So you can find it in the site brandexperienceIEEE.org guidelines, sub brand resources, and go to IEEE societies. So you'll get all the society logos. So in this site, you'll get all the society logos, all the IEEE logos, and anything that you need regarding logos and all that. Okay, so there are maybe 30 to 40 societies in IEEE. Even councils are there, Council on RFID, that is who's hosting this program. So there you'll get all their logos in that site. Okay, and then I see there are few SP designers here. This is actually this student branches are supposed to follow any one of these logo options for their student branches. Yes, many student branches don't try to follow this because we haven't really enforced it. So they allow us to put icon here, and they put that is your college name. So in America, it's all called universities. So hence in university. So here we should use a college name and IEEE student branch below it. Okay. So this is what is expected from the student branches. Yes, many student branches are not following it. So they have given an example that there is an icon, there is a university name, and there's IEEE student branch written under it. So they haven't, what do you say, put a hard and fast rule that all student branches has to follow it. But then it's good if you do. Okay. And then there are V Affinity group also has a certain logo. So if you're using the V Affinity group, maybe if you want to, if you have a student chapter, maybe you can put their name, that is Kerala section V Affinity group. So there you can use their logo. So try not to use any of these variations. That is, try not to add all these glittery things or make it, in a circle format and all that. So try not to use any modification of these logos. That is, there are many organization units that do this. Okay, but you're not supposed to. So try not to modify any logos. Just read the guidelines and see, okay, we can put the name like this and follow them appropriately. Okay, and then site also, many of you have site chapters. So there I believe when site sends the formation approval, they give you this template to make the logo. Okay, so there you can put your name and do it accordingly. So most of the sites groups, they have follow this type of logo, so that's a good thing. So make sure that site follows this logo and that it's unique to yours. If it's your site group, that is your student brand site group following, so make sure that this bar has the name of the site group, and don't try to use the site, because if you use the site logo alone, it means that the global site is promoting that poster. Okay, so make sure it is more personalized to your site group. Okay, so here more there are more examples, of what not to do in a this thing. That is, see here they've used the kite and they've used it as a student branch logo. So try not to incorporate any master brand or kite into any this sub brand. Sub brand is, that is student branches or sections are all sub brands. Try not to do that. Okay. And then you should not use any other color. So this is a pink color. Try not to make the logos big. So in the example we've seen, they made the logo in that same logo size. Okay, so try not to make sure it goes about 30 to 40% of the entire logo. So make sure it's within that size, not very large. So try not to use this curved or other type of text. Try not to use, what do you say, this graphics. You can see this Rowan University, it has a graphic in the O part. So try not to use that, and try not to use this shadows under the logos. Here again, try not to what do you say, stretch or distort the logos, and try not to use the um, but busy background. Okay, so then there are other correct usage options. That is, this is the size of the logo they have mentioned, but nobody is going to measure the scale, so that's fine. Try not to add text like pink text and all to the IEEE logo, the shadows and all. Okay, so this is the old IEEE blue. I'm not sure if it's clear on the screen. I've shown this blue in another slide. That is, it's a very saturated blue. Try not to use that blue. Okay, here also, like I'm not sure if it's clear. That is, let me try to zoom in. Yeah. So here the kite, it's been modified. It's not the kite original kite logo. It's tried to modify it. So try not to use this type of what do you say logo in your chapter names or student branch names. Here also, do not try to rearrange things. That is, icon has to be placed on the left side. So all that has to be created. Okay. So yeah, that's it from the brand guidelines perspective. um Okay, so I believe I got a few questions. How much opacity? Okay, I believe the opacity for the logo should be 25%. I'm not sure. Let me just check my guidelines if it's mentioned here. Okay, so it's not mentioned here, but I've read somewhere it should be 25% opacity. Okay, I'll just cross check and get back to you, but I believe I read it somewhere as 25%. Okay, so that's done. How does one rise as a great designer on IEEE? Is it following the guidelines or the creativity? So it's a balance of both. See, you have to follow the guidelines. See, guidelines, it's just guidelines. It's not rules. Okay, rules as in like, maybe like what do you say? You should put in this what do you say, design only. You can use this colors. Like, actually, if you actually go through the original brand guidelines, that is the actual PDF, they have mentioned a lot of colors. They have mentioned a lot of fonts. So if you follow the guidelines alone, your posters won't look so great. I'll be honest with you. Okay. Um, that is, I'll show you the actual brand guidelines. Just give me a minute. I'll show you the actual guidelines PDF right now. So when you look at it, may see these guidelines were created few years back. So accordingly, design has changed. Design has evolved. Maybe design of 2000 is not applicable right now. Okay. So where's so I'll share my screen. So this is the PDF. So if you can see, there are about 40 slides. So here they've mentioned the colors. Okay, they've mentioned the wedge. They have mentioned the fonts also, format, the typography, what all fonts also that are required. Okay, so if you stick wholeheartedly 100% to these guidelines, it's not going to make your design pop out or design maybe visible to the crowd. So there are places where you need to follow your own design, but the important rules, that is, do not modify logos, do not then follow the design rules, that is light background, dark background, you know what logo to use. Okay, so try to follow those guidelines. The guidelines, it's not very, I would say, don't take it too harsh, but make sure that you know them. Okay, because when you see other sections like purely violating the logos, like even from a design standpoint, no, it does not feel good, it does not create a good impression. So always when you're under an organization, try to follow its rules, and that's how you tend to achieve balance. Okay, so what else? Yeah, so as I said, use your creativity. Okay, no, there is no limit towards the creativity. Okay, but follow the important guidelines. Okay, as I mentioned, like these are the what not to do, don't do them. Like this site, try not to do these type of I actually call them blunders, because these are actually common sense. Okay, certain this thing. So this is the see, they've mentioned colors. So if you limit yourself towards what do you say, these type of colors and all, your posters won't be great. Okay, so you can use the wedge if you want, but not many people use the wedge. Okay, you can use it, there is no restriction. They haven't, this is a guideline, so this is just suggestions, but what they have told not to do, make sure that you don't do. Okay, so that's done to Sam's question. More, can you describe more on the video section? Okay, fine. So this is how the video section page is. They have only given yeah, one page for the video section. So they haven't, okay, I'm not sure, they haven't mentioned the opacity size, but I believe it is 25% again. Okay, so using the ghosted or translucent watermark. Okay, so that you can use it in your when you use showing footage or during the video. It's not necessary, but it's a good way to leverage the IEEE brand. Okay, so sometimes it gets too disturbing, so maybe it might destroy the visual feedback of your video. So it's up to you to use the IEEE logo during the footage, but maybe at the end screen, that is the starting and end frames, um you can use them. Wait, I'll just go through. Yeah, so you can use the master brand can appear at the opening and closing frames. I'm not sure if this is, yeah, so opening and closing frames rather than throughout. Okay, so you can use that. You can use the wedge system if needed. Okay, uh that is depending on the video maker and all that. So yeah, that's there's not so much rules for what is it, guideline and video space as such. So if you're using, like, now most probably you will have an organization, that is, you will have your student branch logo, you will have your maybe section logo. So that time on the last frame, make sure that student branch logo and then the IEEE logo also comes. Okay, so that is the only guideline for a video standpoint. um yeah, any other questions? I hope I've answered all questions. If you have any other questions, you can reach out to me personally also. I'm there in the group. Um, so even in the Discord channel, I'm there. If you want, you can mail me, you can WhatsApp me, no problems. Uh, See, everyone is still learning, everyone is this thing. So yeah, that's it from my side. Anything else? Any questions? So make sure you go to the sorry, brand experience website. So there you get a lot of so this is like, I've gone straight to the guidelines website. So here you get the PDF. Okay, so this PDF updates frequently, I mean, not very frequently, but I believe last update was in 2019 for this, and there's another PDF which is updated in 2021. So there's a lot of updates which are happening. Okay, so make sure you use. There are some quick tips also they've given. They've used the so you can go through this website and try to learn more about the IEEE brand. So if you have any doubts, I mean, okay, if there's no doubts, then you can all reach out to me personally. We'll put this website in the. Yeah, it's already put, I believe. Yeah, that's it to my session.